We begin our journey in the year 1971, a year after the United States had entered the Vietnam War. Vietnam was a battle against communism, a fight to prevent its spread in Southeast Asia. The war was brutal, and the images that came home were distressing. In 1973, the Paris Peace Accords were signed, ending U.S. involvement in Vietnam, but the wounds were deep and the nation was divided. This war changed the way America viewed conflict, and its impact continues to resonate in our society today. 15 years later, in 1988, the U.S. found itself involved in another conflict, this time in the Middle East. Operation Earnest Will was the American military's protection of Kuwaiti-owned tankers from Iranian attacks. This operation illustrated the U.S.'s commitment to preserving stability in the oil-rich Gulf. In 1990, the U.S. led a coalition of nations in the Gulf War to liberate Kuwait after it was invaded by Iraq. Operation Desert Storm was swift and decisive, showcasing the technological superiority of the U.S. military. It was a significant victory, but it laid the groundwork for future conflict in the region. Moving into the 21st century, the U.S. faced a new kind of warfare. The attacks on September 11, 2001, prompted the War on Terror. The U.S. invaded Afghanistan to dismantle al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban from power. This war marked a new era of prolonged, unconventional conflict. In 2003, the U.S. invaded Iraq under the premise of disarming weapons of mass destruction. The Iraq War proved to be controversial, with drawn-out combat operations and questions about the justification for the invasion. Despite these controversies, it underscored the U.S.'s ongoing commitment to global security. In 2011, the U.S. led a NATO intervention in Libya, assisting rebels in overthrowing the Gaddafi regime. This intervention was a demonstration of the U.S.'s willingness to support democratic movements, but it also raised questions about the long-term consequences of such actions. In 2014, the rise of ISIS led to U.S. involvement in Syria and Iraq. Operation Inherent Resolve was launched to counter the growing threat of ISIS. This operation continues to be a complex and challenging conflict, one that reflects the changing nature of global warfare. In conclusion, over the past 50 years, the U.S. has been involved in a variety of wars, each with its unique challenges and outcomes. From fighting communism in Vietnam to countering terrorism in the Middle East, these conflicts have shaped the U.S.'s role on the global stage and continue to influence its military strategies today. As we look to the future, it's clear that the nature of warfare is changing. The U.S. military must adapt to these changes, learning from past wars to face new challenges. The goal remains the same: to protect American interests and promote global stability. But the tactics, strategies, and tools will continue to evolve in response to the changing landscape of global conflict.